Pohnpeian, an island rich in beauty, majestic, undisturbed, vibrant with life.
Pohnpeian speaks to a silent listener.
Storytellers recall many legends about how Pohnpeian came to be. One famous story is about Sapakini.
Sapakini was from a land to the south called Air. He was a navigator and a canoe builder. One day, together with a small group of people, all of whom owned special powers, Sapakini set sail. It was said that they were looking for new land. They were searching for freedom.
Unia kini rirong sampa, wiaki sampa wia imu.
They believed the earth was like a house, and when people went beyond the eaves of the house, they would find land.
Nia keperenemut, apan mia sap liki.
Myths and legends account for several thousand years of Pohnpeian struggles and accomplishments in the settling of Pohnpeian and in the successful transformation of their island home into a permanent home. The study of archaeology adds to the completion of the story.
3,000 years ago, groups of Austronesian-speaking immigrants, in canoes laden with plants, seeds, and animals, set sail from a foreign shore. According to anthropologists, this foreign shore was probably somewhere in the northern New Hebrides. Their ancestors had left Stone Age China behind some 3,000 years before that. They had moved southward and settled the islands of Southeast Asia and Indonesia. Then, over the succeeding centuries, their forebears had moved eastward through and among the ancient peoples who had been living in Melanesia, intermingling and borrowing from their language and their custom.
Niral masalita, rapakatata sirako lunga pirita, apak kamaleti, mataw.
When they put up the sail, its flash calmed down the sea. One of the women had the power to call forth the wind, and this she did.
Linguistic evidence suggests that the pioneering group sailed northward as far as the Marshall Islands.
They came to a sea called Nomoyas. Nomoyas means Sea of Life.
Then, circling back toward Asia, some immigrants headed westward through the Caroline Islands.
There, they met an octopus on a submerged reef.
Some say it was a woman sitting in the middle of the sea.
If it was an octopus, the octopus advised them that there was a submerged reef ahead. They started to build the land on the submerged reef. For the foundation, some of the people called in big rocks.
But
the waves came and washed the rocks away. Some of them had the power to protect this stone altar, so they made a reef appear to surround it. They also provided mangrove to shelter the altar from the big waves. When this work was finished, the altar became a land, and this land they called Pohnpeian, which means the land upon the holy altar.
Some of the earliest radiocarbon dates came from the south and southeastern part of the island, that is Wene and the Wene or Ononlang area. The dates, the earliest ones are about 1500 years ago. The oral traditions also indicate that the Pohnpeian clan originated in the general area or in that area presumably about the same time.
For millions of years, the Pacific Rim of Fire has been a region of volcanic activity. Down through the western Pacific, from Siberia to New Zealand, it runs. From the Valley of a Thousand Smokes in Alaska to the Land of Fire at the tip of South America, energy created by the Earth's slowly moving crustal plates causes lava to burst forth with the surface of the land or the floor of the ocean. When the fires cool, the newly formed points of rock on the sea begin to subside back into the abyss at a rate of about half an inch in 100 years. Over the intervening years, generations of microscopic animals called polyps have been busy constructing around the sinking and shrinking original shoreline a coral reef. Several miles out to sea now in some places, Pohnpei's reef, building toward the sun, is fulfilling its destiny as protector of the land, holding back the waves of the sea from the shores of the stone altar.
Sapkani and the travelers from the new land stayed long enough to plant taro and fruits. Before they sailed, they left some people behind to protect and populate the island. The name of the lady responsible for populating the island was Limuetu.
The dryland taro called wet is also called Sapukin. Now, it's a good thing to think about, the relationship between the name of the taro and Sapukini.
More travelers arrived on the new land. They brought ivory knot palm and taught Pohnpeians how to make thatch houses from its leaves.
Son par toto muri, Pohnpei pekolar, o war me irayangoto sang utan sapara, ang proto. Proton cek irara, maira kelail, o yamumun ara apapali.
After Pohnpei was populated, the canoe came back to see how the people were doing and how they were taking care of the island that they had made. Those in the canoe tried to take the original couple back with them, but the couple didn't want to go because they loved their children and were concerned that they would not live in peace if they left them. So the canoe went back without them.
Imakarata John war me boiratong ton takawat Pohnpei prala o ira mimita ton sapot.
According to the oral traditions, the first settlers of the island came from the south. Presumably, their first point of arrival will be along the southeastern part of the island. It seems that the archaeological evidence is pointing or indicating that, yes, this part of the island is settled quite early on. And this is something that we also get from the oral traditions. The sense that the island was settled, or the members of the Pohnpeian clan came to that part of the island earlier on.
Canoes continued to come. They brought more people, more skills and sustenance. They planted new crops, learned to make fire, and cook their food.